Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of EdTalk on Lab TV. I'm Gafudu Sakpoho, and we are thrilled to launch this new show where we explore education trends, challenges, and best practices. Today, we have very important guests and to discuss also a very important topic, which is balancing academics and language acquisition in French English bilingual schools. In bilingual schools in French-speaking countries, students must not only master academic content, but also develop proficiency in both French and English. This can be challenging, but there are effective strategies to make it manageable and even enjoyable. And to discuss those strategies, we have here Mr. Akin-Philip Francis, Principal of Cotonou International School here in Benin. And he has years of experience in bilingual education and has guided students in succeeding academically while mastering two languages. Yes, Mr. Akin-Philip, thank you. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Thank you for joining.
You're welcome, Mr. Gav. And of course, I also greet the audience. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. So to get started, could you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
I am Akin-Philip Francis. I'm the principal for Cotonou International School, Jericho. And of course, I've been in this education line for well over 1.5 decades now. So I've been fortunate also that this well over 15 years has been in bilingual or what you call multi-language school. So that is me, and I'm glad to be here.
All right. So, but first, what drew your interest in joining the bilingual system at first as an educator? I mean, while you could have just chosen to teach or work in just a monolingual school.
Wow, this is very, very interesting, and I must confess it's personal because the first time I came to Benin Republic on a visit, I noticed that even though I'm learned, it's my BSc degrees. When I came to Cotonou for the first time, I realized that no matter how educated you might be, when you find yourself in a country where the language you are familiar with is not being spoken, all of a sudden you become an illiterate. I go into stores, I find it difficult to tell them what I want to buy. I stop the bike man. I don't even know how to express to the bike man where I'm going to. So I suddenly realized that there's something about languages, and it seems like being a one language spoken person is like you are shortchanging yourself. So I think this is one of the things that drove my interest into getting into an environment where you could see people, students, learning more than one, particularly international languages. So that's where the interest started from.
All right. Generally, we have this, I don't know, misunderstanding or wrong understanding of what a bilingual school could be. But from your experience as an educator and also a specialist in the field, could you just give us just a quick
Okay.
definition what a bilingual school could
Okay.
be?
Simply put, a bilingual or multilingual education would be a school where students get to learn in more than one language. Um, in this case, talk about maybe English and French, which is predominant. And then some other schools, you have maybe English and Spanish, which of course we call the Espanol in French, or some even do English and Arabic. So having students learn in more than one international language is what will be tagged as a bilingual school, basically. So I think the challenge will be how to balance this, understanding the content, that's the academics itself, and then the ability to express whatever is required in the language that is required. By that I mean that the problem has been, imagine my language is, I'm strong with English, for example, and then I find myself in a school that is tagged as a bilingual school, and then I find myself in a class where a French teacher is speaking to me, a French teacher who also doesn't understand English at all, and then he's trying to explain to me a concept which I'm just trying to learn in French. But for me to properly be able to express myself, I have to be doing what we call, I have to be translating almost immediately in my mind what he's saying so that I can actually get it in my language where I'm strong at.
Mm-hmm.
So this have been a great challenge for a lot of students. And so you find out that you have a student who is purely intelligent, but just because he or she cannot understand the language with which you are teaching, or that you want to assess him or her on, then that student is tagged as being a below average or probably even a low grade student, just because he or she doesn't understand that particular language the teacher is trying to teach him or her. So these are some of the challenges that they have.
Well, we definitely get back to discuss the major challenges in the system. But we've noticed a growing number of bilingual schools, especially in Benin, where we are. I mean, starting from year 2000 to now, more than 25 years now, we have noticed a growing number of bilingual schools in Benin, of course, in the major cities, but particularly in Cotonou. But also, we can also feel some kind of interest, growing interest of parents sending their kids. What do you think could explain that trend that we're having?
I lost you a little there towards the end. Can you make the last statement?
Yes. What, in your opinion, what do you think is the reason behind the growing number of bilingual schools in the major cities in Benin and or Francophone countries in general, but also the growing interest of parents in sending their kids to bilingual schools?
Okay, I think the first reason will be because of, do I want to say demand, or the effect of everyone getting to understand that the world is a global village, and people beginning to believe that one particular international language may be preferred to maybe another international language, seeing the way the world is going. We have a lot of parents now, for example, who before now, maybe the only option they have when their kids are going abroad or outside of the land would be to go to France. But now you have a lot of parents who probably will want their kids to go to the United States or Canada or UK. And because of some of these demands, they understand that it would be better for their kids to have some very good English background. And I use that example, talking about the English as an international language. We have some other parents whose interest might be for their kids to go to China, for example, or to go to some of these Arabic countries. And so these international languages are becoming of interest to some of these parents because of what they desire or they demand for their kids in future. So these are majorly the reasons why most parents now are considering their children attending bilingual or multilingual schools.
All right. Well, it's true that today, with globalization, there's more opportunities in education, but also in professional field now being open as accessed. This requires the knowledge of more than one language, but still, how do we explain the fact that okay, all of a sudden, parents want their kids to get in a bilingual system when the child is coming only with one language? How do you really welcome such students, with only one language background, and how do you get that student? Adjust over the time.
Yeah, that's a very brilliant question. Let's take the case of you being a doctor, And of course, your duty is to welcome sick people, and then you want to treat them. And so let us look at it from that angle. As a school, you are structured to help people learn, for example. So parents will come with all sort of requests based on what you have to offer. So we don't send them away. We don't say, oh, because your child is coming from just a French speaking background, and now you want us to groom them in English and French. We won't send them away. Of course, we know that this comes with its own challenges because if you have a child, for example, who have spent, say, the first 15 years of his or her life in just the French section, and then you are bringing him or her to us, and then you want it within 1 or 2 years for him to start speaking English like Mr. Gaff. I'm certain that that is like a very big task, but we won't send them away. We just let them know how sometimes this can be tedious. It's a gradual process. We encourage them, and then we try to start laying the foundation. Now, where the challenges might be is that, a child, for example, is in, say, grade 12. Even if you want to start laying the foundation for English, for somebody who has been brought up in French, are you going to start with how to write the ABC or how to spell boy and cat? These are some of the challenges, but we don't send them away. We encourage them because it is also something that we encourage because we know that we don't want anybody to be limited. We don't want anybody have his or her future being limited to the fact that he or she cannot communicate in more than just one language. So we encourage them, we put them into the programs. The only thing we do is that maybe apart from the normal regular classes, then we may encourage them to still get, how do you call it, like a home teacher or a personal teacher to help him or her develop that particular language, which is secondary, to such students.
But the reality is there. I mean, a child who joining a grade 12 and then probably coming from a French-speaking background and now has to take notes in subjects like mathematics, science, in English. Of course, I know the school might be willing really to help the child really somehow catch up. But is that realistic?
Yeah, like for this one, I will use my school as a case study. We run almost all the subjects. We run in English, we run them also in French, for example, because we understand that we cannot base full assessment of the child on how he or she is able to express in a particular language. We base it on how he or she understands what is being taught. So we run almost all the courses, whether it is science, whether it is mathematics, whether it is philosophy. We run them both in English and in French, so that such child will not be, because, okay, I'm in a bilingual school, I'm trying to learn in English, he or she will then be treated as a low-grade student. But he learns from both sides, enjoying the strength, which is probably French in this case, and at the same time building up his English, as it were. The problem is we have some schools who claim to be bilingual schools, but what they do is probably run all the subjects in English and probably have one subject as French, or run all the courses in French and probably just have one subject as English. And then they claim that they are only bilingual, but you find out that the other subjects that are supposed to be learned in these two languages for this child to still be able to go are not done that way. But in our situation, we make sure that almost all of those subjects are run on both languages so that the child can actually get developed in terms of understanding and then keep speaking up in terms of the language, which is the second one for him or her as he or she has come to our school to learn.
Well, but is that not normal for school to claim to be bilingual? Because seeing the trend, parents preferring bilingual schools over the other schools, which proprietor will have to lose their students, seeing their students going to the other side, So it's probably better. I mean, get it wrong, but it's probably better for them for retention purpose and also for business purpose to claim they're bilingual and probably get just one teacher run maybe the language pattern of the for all the classes.
Yeah, I agree with you. With the trend that we have now, it's something that an average school would desire, that they run bilingual system or multilingual system as the case may be. But of course, we know that running a bilingual or multilingual system effectively is has some stuff that needs to be put in place. It could be capital intensive, and also you need to probably tweak your structure a little bit. Tweak from your timetable to the teachers you're going to get. You must be able to get qualified teachers across board. For example, you cannot. For example, I might manage to speak little French here and there. I want to go, but then you will not take me, for example, to go into a class and teach students in French, because that would be me shortchanging the students. So some schools who would want to do this thing shy away because of what is involved. Getting teachers across board for all of this, and qualified teachers particularly, not just getting teachers, because once you want bilingual systems, you must be able to train these students in both languages to the point where they can actually sit for both internal and external exams. In Benin, for example, you must be able to train your students for them to be able to sit for this CFA, the BPC, and the back. And you and I know that that is not, in my parlance, what we call moi, that is not an easy task. It's something that takes great deal. So I guess maybe it's one of the reasons why some of them. And then there's also those who, apart from the capital intensity, is about how to balance their timetable. I've seen schools who struggle with how to balance the timetable for the day, to structure the timetable for the day, to accommodate both subjects, and still be able to run the academic scheme for the term. So these are some of the things that are very, very early, and of course, we make some schools just like, okay, I think let me just stick with the one I could do and do effectively well. But CIS has been doing this for years now, and God has been helping us at least to do them well, well.
Well, yes, I don't know. Do parents understand most of those challenges that schools face in balancing academically and also linguistically speaking?
Okay, can you say that again? I didn't get your first line.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is a great challenge you just mentioned, how to balance timetable, but also the curriculum, because at the end of the year, most of the scheme most of the things must be covered, and especially for students going for external examinations, parents who purposely choose to bring their kids, especially kids who are, for example, in troisième, and they bring their kid at that class knowing quite well that the kid will probably go in for an external examination. Do they really understand that? Do those parents really understand those challenges that you just raised?
This network is
yeah, okay. Dear viewers,
I really lost you. Yeah, I lost you radio there. But I think you're talking about maybe some parents who will bring their kids to such a class where they know it might be very, very difficult for them to meet up with some of these external exams. Am I right?
Exactly.
Yes. No, for us, we are very, very, we outrightly we let parents know. For example, you are bringing a child who has been in French background all his life, and then you want such child to come into, say, grade 12, where such child is preparing for the English basic, that's like the junior YF. We have to let you know that is impracticable. What is impracticable, we'll let you know. Because you see, one mistake a school might take or might make is to just hey, bring them on, bring them in, and then the student suffers because now you're trying to ram so much into a head that is not prepared for it. That's one. Two, at the end of the day, you cannot achieve what both the parents and the school desire.
Mm.
It's almost impracticable. There is no way a child who has not been there will come in to sit with the children who have been there from their JS1, JS2, and maybe their 9, JS3, and it's time for the junior YF. And you have been French all your life. You came in, you want to come into JS3 and then to sit for the same. You let them know, no, it is impossible. So there are certain classes that you cannot bring a child to enroll into, particularly when such people are preparing for the external exams. And it's the same way for the others. If you are English all your life, you want to come into a class where you want to sit for the basic BPC, that is almost impracticable. Or you want to come into a class where you want to sit for the back, just 1 year, 2, and then you have not had the foundation. It's almost impracticable. And I even love the way the system, the Benin system, helped us out, where there are certain classes you cannot miss before. If you miss certain classes, you cannot register for the next exam. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
They give you a good master where when you do a CFA, for example, they know how many years after you're supposed to come and sit for the BPC. And so if you come 1 year before that, or you are coming 2 years after, you have to explain to the government why or where you've been. So we try to use that to balance things. We don't just want to say, because you're excited, somebody's interested in wanting to come in. When we know it is not practicable, we let the parents know almost immediately. So you see some parents will like, okay, based on the advice we give, it's okay. Maybe we should step this child down 1 class or 2 classes so that he can still learn to catch up with what he or she. There are some very good parents, Beninese parents who are understanding, and also Nigerian parents who are very, very understanding. I think it's just about the school putting their feet down and explaining to them, why we don't want to endanger the lives of these children. We don't want to be excited. We just want them to go. These children are the most to suffer if you just want to ram them into a class that they are not prepared for.
Yeah, I think this is a very, very important thing to do, explain to parents the challenges involved and also the risks involved if they are ready to take. But financially speaking, if they are also ready to pay the bill, getting maybe extra lessons for the children.
Exactly.
Yes, but we have, like we mentioned earlier, many schools claim to be bilingual, but with just one teacher teaching only, not even all the subject, maybe teaching only the French language to almost the entire school. How effective is that in really getting the school bilingual as they claim?
Seriously, that is quite disheartening because that is a caricature of what a bilingual school should be. That's just like trying to make jest of what a bilingual school should be. Yes, it's true. I've heard of such cases, but seriously, I wonder what the end game will be. For me, the end game seems like maybe such people are just interested in, okay, just make money. Because there is no way, for example, one individual want to teach in English, teach in French, and at the same time, you want to teach philosophy, you want to teach Israel, just you. Or it's just like even in English, you want to be the one to teach the mathematics, you want to be the one to teach the chemistry, you want to be the one to teach the physics, and then you want to be the one to teach the civic. This is a joke taken too far.
Yeah, but
I really want.
There are some schools who do put such big load on some teachers.
Exactly. That's why my next statement would be to advise such schools to please desist from such. I know some teachers who are in such schools are there because, okay, maybe there is nowhere else to go. Sometimes people do things just because they feel, okay, maybe there is nothing else to do. But I am certain that the students of such schools will suffer. The students of such schools will suffer. There's no way they can get the best, of what the parents intended for them to get. So I really want to advise such schools to please go back to their drawing board, much more than just wanting to make the money. Let them do what is right. You understand? Because of tomorrow. Because I'm sure most of the parents are getting to know, they're getting to see the difference, and they are wise. And with the time, they will make better decisions because the life of these kids is at stake. So I really, really want to implore such school to desist from such. It is impracticable. It's not. It's a joke taken so far.
But doing what is right sometimes might be expensive, very expensive. Like having, like in the French system, having one teacher for each subject. Do schools can schools really afford to to hire teachers for each subject, especially in the French side?
I think I know one or two French schools, but just that I'm not yet to advertise any school. But I know one or two French schools who have such kind of arrangements, very good, solid arrangements. Just like we are English school, but like I said, we are bilingual school because we run all. We have separate teachers for different subjects, whether it's in
Okay.
English, whether it's in French. We have different subjects for that. So I believe that when it's not about how far, but how well. If something needs to be done, it can be done correctly if we truly make up our minds, that we want to do it. Yes, it might be capital intensive, but if you are ready to invest into it, I am certain there are parents in Benin who value good education, who will be willing to pay when they see that there is a good structure and good arrangement on ground. I know lots of Beninese who will not joke with, they will rather pay because they see the structure. So I would want to encourage schools who are considering it as being expensive, go back to the board. If you really want to do it, then do it well. Otherwise, stick to just your French stuff and stay there well. Those who wouldn't mind will come for you. But to want to do it haphazardly because other people are doing it and then you're not doing it right, I think it's not the best for them and for the students who are undergoing studies in such schools. So it's possible.
Yeah, we quickly go back to talk just about yourself, sir. What does it take to run a bilingual school in an environment like Benin? What does it take?
One, location might be very important. Location is one very key thing in Benin Republic. Um, you must get your location right. That is one. Two, what's your vision like? Talking about the proprietors or whoever the owner of the school is, what's your vision? So if your vision is to have good bilingual school or multilingual schools, good. Then of course, after you have done all that is needed to be done with the government, because it's important, you cannot just set up a school without government approval. So ensure that you've done all that needs to be done with government approval, your location. Then, like I said earlier on, get good staff, good qualified staff. So once your government stuff is settled, because I don't joke with that, I don't ever subscribe to anybody doing anything in Benin without proper authorization. So once there is proper authorization, ensure also that you look at your location because you want to set up something that is of value, which of course will be capital intensive. Then it's important that you put it in a location where you will get people that will be ready to pay for such value. So that is very important. That's the second thing. Then the third thing will be now that you have made up your mind, you have vision, you've done all of that, get proper, good, and qualified teachers for your programs. Make sure that you are doing it right. So once that is there, and then maybe it's little publicity here and there. Yes, of course, I must tell whoever wants to come in that it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not like, oh, you open the school today, and then 6 months down the line, you're already making the no. It's something that needs dedication. It needs something that needs dedication, test of time, and then by and by, people will begin to see, okay, there is this school there. They are offering this here and there. So the patience is also very, very important for whoever is coming into this environment to understand that they have to put it there. So those few things, I believe, if they are in place, we set such school apart, and with time, they will find their place up there. Yeah, like CIS.
Yeah, like CIS. But you sound like one needs a very big capital because
Yeah, yeah.
you're talking about quality, having good
Mm-hmm.
teachers, having good location,
Yeah,
having this, but all this requires money.
network.
Yeah, you mentioned having quality teachers, quality location. But all this requires money, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yes, it does. Money, even the Bible says that money is, I don't want to say the root of any evil, but at least whatever you need to do, your ideas will stay being an idea if there's no money to translate it into reality. So I want to believe that whoever wants to come into school and business at all, understand that there is money going to be involved. Yeah. So whether you want to get the good location, whether you want to get the good qualified teachers, all of these things require money. So money is it, and I think money is just necessary for school, just as it's necessary for every other business. You want to set up an hospital, you want to set up a good super mall, you need money. So maybe that's why I didn't mention it, because I know money is like the bedrock. If you don't have money at all, everything you are saying, your vision stays in the state of being an idea. It may never be a reality, So money is important, it's essential.
Yeah, thank you so much for being so honest. I think it's quite clear that it's very, very important to have resources to run, and
Definitely.
also I understand that one you also need to be very patient. Probably wait for
Definitely. You have to be very
years
patient, yeah.
before you could start expecting any returns and any profits. And but I don't believe that is the expectations of most proprietors. People starting school want to make it immediately. They want to make it within 1 to 3 years. They want to make that.
Yeah, that might be before now. For most businesses now, sincerely speaking, for most businesses now, when you are setting out, apart from the capital you're going to need for putting the business in place, you must set aside also money to maybe for your running costs, payment of your staff, for
Mhm.
probably 6 months to 1 year, must be
Mhm.
available.
Okay.
Particularly for school, if one is intending to go into school, ah, if you don't have the money, the capital to put structures, the teachers in place, the payment of your staff also, the money to pay your staff, whether it's teaching staff, non-teaching staff, you must have something not less than 6 months to 1 year available. You may not, you may not be able to break even in your first 6 months or 1 year. That's what I've seen. You may not be able to. You know why? Because if you take a walk on your street now, you find out that before you walk 3 streets from wherever you are, you probably would have seen 2 to 3 different bilingual schools, supposedly.
Mhm.
You see, so that tells you that you are not just the fish in the water. There are so many fishes in that water you are about to swim. So but because you are coming with a vision, you want to have value, you want to do something different, which of course is capital intensive. You want to get good. One thing that will make you not run out of business in 3 months is if you prepare yourself with the patience of knowing that, okay, me breaking even may not come in the first 6 months, may not come in the first 1 year. You must have factored all of this in place. Otherwise, such person might be frustrated out of the business. And that's why you will see that there are so many schools that came up once to bilingual, and then maybe 1 year after, you find them no longer. These are some of the schools who fail to understand that this school business that we are talking about now may not be something that you break even in the first 6 months or in the first 1 year. You may not break
Yes,
even. This is
that's
it might sound bitter, it might sound awkward, but that's just the truth for whoever is coming to that business. to prepare his or her mind. Is it like somebody, for example, who wants to go into animal production? You know that if you start rearing pigs now, maybe the next 6 months or 8 months before you can start selling. So if you start rearing your pigs today, you cannot start expecting money in 3 months' time. So something similar is what is happening in the school environment nowadays, that you must make up your mind. Otherwise, the person might be frustrated out of the school business. And it's happening already. People who miscalculate, who come into and jump into the ocean.
So there's schools that are closing already.
Yeah, a lot of schools are closing already.
But well, they're receiving school fees, don't they? I think.
Yeah, they are. They are. But just like Riley said, you know that bilingual school is the thing. You are receiving school fees. You want to engage. You want to do a proper bilingual system. So now you know you have to get more staff. You see, now you get more staff, which means your overhead has increased. You know, but now you find yourself in a place where last year you have 200 students. Maybe this year you have 150 or 200 because you are competing with other schools who are around. Yeah. But then you are trying to step up your grade because you want to go into bilingual schools. You want to get more teachers, qualified teachers that you have to pay for. So now your overhead has increased, but what is coming as school fees to your school, which is supposed to be your income, is still on the same level. You know, or maybe you just want to increase a little bit because so you are not meeting up. Like I said, if you're having 200, immediately you jack up my million. Who will not stand to do, whose mind will just be like, oh, we paid 200,000 SEPA last time, so why are you increasing it to 250 this time? I'm taking my kids. Students might just drop to 120 just because you are trying to find out that your overhead is much, the money that comes in, you are not meeting up. And before you know it, you start owing your staff. Maybe you're not paying your staff. 1 month, 2 months, you lose good staff. And by and by, gradually, just like a fan that you turn off, it takes a while before the fan stops totally. That's what happens. So most schools that close up now, the problem started long before now. They've been managing, they've been coping. So just like a stand fan that gets to a still, it gets to a point when it becomes full blown and everyone can see, oh, they are gone, all their good stuff are gone, parents are gone, and then the owner of the school goes back home.
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier quality staff, but what is the importance of what role does the staff, especially the teaching staff, play in really creating this balance? Yeah, what is the importance of the staff that you have, the quality of the staff you have in having a balanced system, bilingual system?
Yes, the quality, in short, is, I'm sorry to say, I don't want to offend any owner of schools, but if you put some of this thing in scale, the staff is one of the most important things in such system. You know, this is not to play down on any owner of school or whatever, because these are the people who are having the direct communication. They are the ones delivering the service to the student. If the students are happy, if the parents are happy, it's really because the staff are happy and they are doing what they are supposed to do. When students go for external exams, they come back with good grades. I suppose this is because these staff have done what they ought to do. So when you have quality staff, first and foremost, you see students who are happy and excited to want to come to school because they are getting value. They are getting value. You know, these teachers are making them feel like they should be in school. So they are like the life wire of the school. They are like the life wire. If you have good staff, it will reflect in how the school operates. And if it's the other way around also, it will definitely affect. So if you have good staffing, you may have an increase in population of your students because students know how to talk to one another. Parents of schools know how to talk to other parents. Oh, my kid they're enjoying themselves in their school. They have physical, they are doing great. You understand? So we can never underestimate the importance of good staff in school. They are the life wire. It's important. And that's why I give kudos to proprietors who take good care of their staff, like we enjoy in my place. Our proprietors, wonderful. She doesn't joke with that because she understands that the staff, when they are happy, the school runs smoothly. The kids are happy, the parents are happy, and of course, eventually, the proprietors also will be happy.
Yeah, the proprietor, happy staff, happy school, happy students, happy parents. But still, there are some proprietors that are quite afraid, scared that, okay, making the staff happier probably is a way also to get them lazier, and also getting them asked for more.
Okay. Maybe okay. The feeling of maybe when you make them happy, you make them lazier. No, I wouldn't say that because laziness will come in when somebody is not doing what he or she needs to do within a specific time.
Mm,
Then I can say this person is lazy. If the person is not okay, I have this task 1, 2, 3, 4. You are supposed to do within 3 hours. So if you are not meeting up the 3 to 4 tasks within the 1 hour, that is when I can tag you as being lazy. But if
mm,
you are able to meet up your task within those hours, then the term laziness shouldn't come to be. So
mm,
if there's any proprietors who is thinking in that light, I want to encourage them to not think like that. I believe when your staff are happy, your kids will be happy. That's talking about your students. And of course, your parents will be happy by extension. And it boils down to you also being happy. Yeah, because I don't know. Imagine, I'm sure, for example, in Let TV where you are, imagine you come to your office, your secretary isn't smiling because because it's not happy. Maybe your clerk isn't happy because you're not doing what you want to do, for example. I don't even know how you want to work in that environment.
that's
That
true.
makes the environment toxic. The environment becomes toxic. So I really want to encourage proprietors to please focus on what and what. And sometimes, it doesn't take much for this staff to be happy. Just put 1 or 2 things that can help them. Make sure that their salaries come on time. Okay. Put facilities that will help them, like if there is internet facility, for example, that will aid your staff to be able to do what he or she needs to do. Your staff can easily pick his phone or his laptop to make research about the next topic he's about to teach. So what I'm saying necessarily is making your staff happy sometimes doesn't take real much. It's
Mm,
just you as the management and the proprietor sitting down to ask yourself, what are the little things that can make my staff, apart from salary, that can make them find it easy to deliver their jobs? They'll be happy. It doesn't take much for them to be happy. And when they are happy, they deliver on time. The kids are happy, like I said, and it goes round, and then you are happy too. So I really want to encourage operators to look in that line. So we can't say they are lazy because they are happy as long as they are meeting up with the task that is set for them.
definitely, we definitely probably come back on maybe in another show to talk about the structure, the quality structure required in bilingual schools really to be successful, because structure is a very
That will be no
important
problem. It will be my pleasure to do
all
here.
right, all right. So talking about balancing, we're still talking about balancing academics. Um, do you sometimes feel like, okay, parents are not satisfied the way English subjects are taught, and the way I know mostly we have, because I have
Sorry,
my
I
kids
didn't. I
in
didn't
the
get
school.
that. I got you. I got to the point where you said, "Do I sometimes feel like parents?" I didn't get what you said next.
Yeah, yeah. My question is, uh, the
Hmm.
subject in the French system. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you now. I
All
lost you a
right.
while.
So the subjects in the French system and the subjects
Good.
in the English system, I know parents have some expectations, but is it, I mean, leading your programs, is it about meeting the expectations of parents, or really providing quality education to students, which enables them really to find their way in the future? Because we have also a very narrow job market on the other side. But parents, each parent comes with their own expectation. I want my kid to perform this way or that way. So, how do you actually conduct your programs to meet both
Hmm.
parents' expectations and also the future of the students?
Yeah, that's a very very interesting question. The first thing is looking at how to build the children to be able to fit into a very good future supersedes sometimes the expectation of parents. You know, this is because sometimes if you put five parents down and they have to tell you what they want, if you have to follow the desires of the five parents, one or two of them will knock you out of the structure. So the most important thing is to have the structure in place. For example, for every of these subjects that should be run in your school, there are schemes that the government, based on how they put together, understand that every child should be able to learn these particular topics under this particular subject per term, and then maybe for after 3 terms, which of course make a session, and for each of the classes. Okay, so we follow that judiciously. Now, when parents come sometimes with their expectations, well, if there is a conflict between their expectations and what is structurally on ground, what we do most time is to talk to them to make them see. And then eventually, sometimes when we talk to some of these parents, we find out that some of them are speaking from the points of what they used to think, what they used to feel, what they used to believe was right. For example, parents nowadays need to understand that go by the days when I don't want to say this to demean any profession or any job out there, but go by the days when if you must choose career, if it's not a doctor, it must be a lawyer. If it's not a doctor, a lawyer, it must be this, it must be that. But you and I know, in reality, with what we see today, that sometimes it might not necessarily be that. So you see some parents who want to mold their children into one or two of these glorified or beautiful job titles, even when such child may not have, how do I call it, the interest. That might not be his strength.
Mm-hmm.
I just want my child to be a doctor, and so
Yes.
I want to force him into the science field. And even in the science, I want him to do more of biology and maybe chemistry because I want him to be a doctor. But
Yes.
when we train these children from their basic 7, for example, basic 8, basic 9, and all through we have seen that maybe this child is supposed to go in the line of engineering, which of course maybe should do more with maybe the physics, maybe the further mathematics, and some other stuff. But here is the parents wanting it to just be medicine. It has to be medicine because that is what their family thinks. So sometimes when we see such conflicts, we invite the parents over. We make them see what we have identified as the strength of their child or their
Okay.
word, as the case may be. This is what we have seen based on the number of years that this child has been with us. We have noticed these are his key area of strength. Is there any particular reason why you want him to do what you want? So sometimes when we talk together, most times we're able to come to a conclusion that perhaps the parent is coming from the point of, okay, I heard that medicine sells. Once you are a medical doctor, you make money. Yeah, which is not bad. But what if the child is a medical doctor and is a mediocre in the field,
Mm.
whereas it could have been the best in engineering? So we do a lot of talk with our parents, and
Mm.
I can tell you boldly that most of the parents, when we have this heart-to-heart talk, because they understand that we are in the field and we have dealt with these kids for a while, most times
Okay.
they are not. They succumb, they subpedal, they see sense in what we are seeing. That it is better for your child to be a genius in the engineering world, for example, than for him to be a mediocre in medicine that you want to force him into. And that's why you see
Mm.
most of them, they will probably study this medicine because you force them to study it. Then after they study, they throw away the certificate and then go elsewhere. And now you are not happy because you spent all your money, you've monitored them to be in that field you want to
Yes.
be, but that is
Yes.
not
Yes.
particularly what they are interested in. So we always have a heart-to-heart talk with our parents. Yeah, in such regards.
Well, you touch a very important point. Parents trying to influence the choices of their kids, and also influence also the curriculum, how the school should do its job, because we have such parents. This is how I want. And but how do you handle issues of some parents trying to compare some school to your school? I know that school or the school my kid came from.
I
This is
lost
how
you
they
there.
do. You don't
I
do
lost
this.
you trying to compare what?
Compare your school to another school or to the previous school the kids came from. Did you get me?
Hello? I didn't get you. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we have situations, cases where parents
I didn't get
compare.
that.
Okay.
I can hear you now. I can
Okay.
hear you now.
Okay. We have cases where some parents compare your school to another school or to the school the kids came from, in the way subjects are handled. How do you address such issues?
Okay. If I get you well, maybe like parents coming to want to compare maybe our schools with another school, for example, on how
Yes.
maybe subject are being handled.
Mhm.
Yeah, for every business you put on the ground, you always have people who sometimes want to compare. Most times, just like the popular slogan that says "It's fire," they convince you. Because one, I try as much as possible. For example, as a director, when they come, sometimes I don't want to compare. I try as much as possible to be careful, not to sound like I want to demean or reduce the other school they are trying to compare me with, because I don't know their program. I've not been there. You are the one telling me as a parent what you are comparing. So most times we stay on the slogan that what we do sometimes is to show you our reports, our records, our results of our students, both in the English and the French sections, the number of percentages of students, how they do well. So we let our reports and our results speak for us. So I try as much as possible to project our results more than
Mhm.
trying to want to sound like I'm demeaning the other, but I don't know what they are offering or how they are offering it. So I let our results speak more. So if our results speak well, I guess it will convince such parents that okay, there must be something we are getting right, so that it won't be like I'm trying to run anybody down, just to make myself look better.
Well, thank you so much. Just getting to the last questions of this show. Just to say, some parents, sorry if I have to talk too much about parents, but
No, no
some
problem.
parents bring their children with the expectation of having them, for instance, since we are in a Francophone school, Francophone country, some parents would bring the kids and expect the kids to start speaking English just within 1 or 2 years, because probably that's what they want, um, and or expect the child to start performing well because they say, okay, seeing the grades, the child is not doing well at mathematics in the English section, the child's not doing well in science in the English section, and they start worrying. How do you really handle such emotions or
Yeah,
concerns from
yeah,
parents?
that is a very practical question. Sometimes you see, yeah, a lot of times you see parents, who come in and they fit into exactly what you are portrayed. So, we try to sometimes jokingly, I ask such parents how long it took him or her to be able to speak the French he or she is speaking now fluently the way he's speaking it. You see, some parents will laugh and like, yeah, some of them will tell me how many number of years I took them. Then I would, so some of them I tell them, have you got colleagues who speak English around you, or maybe neighbors? Some of them will tell me how, yes, they have. Particularly, sometimes it might even be the English speaking people who will tell you they have that. So I tell them, okay, if you spend this number of years around these English people, how come you don't speak the English fluently? So sometimes we laugh, but I make it as because I didn't want to take lightly what they are trying to say, but I try to
Okay.
make it as mild as possible for them to get what I'm trying to say. That
Mhm.
language, proper understanding of the language is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens overnight. Sorry, there's a power cut. Okay,
Right.
so we try to make them understand that it takes time. It takes time, and that they should not judge their kids' intelligence on that language. Because you see, this has really affected a lot of students who now begin to lose their morale because they are not doing well in a particular subject, in a particular language, which is not their strength. So we use this opportunity to talk to our parents, because the first set of people that should encourage students to not lose their morale should be their parents, apart from the teachers. Don't let your child feel like he's inferior because he's not doing well in English language science or English language mathematics. You know, these things take time. So we always make them understand that it takes time for them to be rooted as they desire. So I know there are few parents who understand with us. There are few who still feel like, oh, no, like some magic should be done, you know. And in such cases, we can only tell them, take it easy. Language is not that easy. For example, take me for example. I've been in Benin for a while now. Yes, of course, I could speak my French and find my way around. But I see some very technical stuff you want to say in French. I probably will still have to call my student. Hey, what does that mean? You know. So we need to make our people understand that language, to get to the very depth of language understanding, is not something that happens overnight. It's not even something that will happen in 1 year. And then also, for some of them too, we encourage them to either get home teachers for them, because you see, languages, if it's not being practiced outside of just the powers of classroom, then it should not be helping the matter. For there to be proper language in depth, there must be practice, consistent practice. Outside of in the forward of school, outside the forward of school, environment, exactly. Create environment for them.
Most of those parents don't even speak English at home, so
they don't.
And so the child,
so
they only
the forward school. Yes, they want him or her to become the best in English language.
So I get that. Thank you so much. Sir, we are at the end of today's show. For just 1 hour. We'd like to thank you so much. But before we close, please, could you tell us a bit about your school? Where the school located exactly? And if there's anything you want our viewers to know about your school.
Okay, thank you very much for that opportunity. Okay, like I said earlier on, Cotonou International School has been around for a while, almost 2 decades, if not more than. And we've got 3 branches at the moment in Cotonou. Yes, so that you don't have to leave your space so far before you get to us. We've got a branch in Jericho. We've got another branch in Midumbo. And we've got another branch at Pekadis. So all of these 3 branches, we operate the same way. So anyone that is closer to you, you could just walk in and, of course, make inquiries, make your findings. And I can tell you that it is 100% bilingual, even though we still do the Spanish, yes, but we do that as a subject. You know, so that I'm not adding that. Most of our students still who want still get to learn. So we run the English, we run all our subjects in English, we run our subjects in French, and our results have been outstanding. They've been wonderful. Yeah, we got approval for like all the English external examinations. We got approval already. They are done right in our school, so we don't have to go to outside of Benin to sit for any of our external exams. They are done right here. We got approval for that. And it's a school that I believe if you come to, both the parents and the students will not regret it. They will have something to tell after the encounter with CIS. So that's my tip. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Akin-Philip. It's been a very big pleasure having you here. Thank you for your insight in this issue of balancing academics and language acquisition in bilingual schools. I know we have a lot to say about this. We definitely have the opportunity to come back again and talk more about it. I would want to thank also Mrs. or Ms. Ada Jalingo, some of those people who dropped comments. I guess they are also staff from your school, dance fitness. So, but we want to thank them anyway for really dropping comments and also giving us more information about Cotonou International School, what you guys do. We appreciate that very much. There are so many topics to discuss, and we want to rely on you, sir, to be our guest next time again to discuss those issues related to bilingual education. Thank you so much. We wish you a wonderful weekend. And until we meet next time, take good care of yourself, sir.
I will. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, audience.
You're welcome, sir.
Bye for now.